Personally, I do not buy the idea of a new you. And that's because I am still me, goodness, but a more improved version. I work in the creation of mobile apps for my 9 to 5 job, and most times, tiny things such as version number matters a lot. I might wonder what I mean by version number. For every app you use on your device, there is a version number tied to it. So if the Spotify app you currently have on your mobile phone is a version, let's say 2.8, and you head onto the App Store and you see that there's an update on the app, that update can be version 2.9 or even 2.8.1 points. Kind of like how iOS works. Sometimes the experience someone has with iOS 14 can never be the experience someone with iOS 18 or whatever iOS we have going on right now. I have to check my phone. But that doesn't make iOS 18 entirely new. It is just an update that's an improvement on what is already existing. So, with this in mind, I like to see you and I as such products. Just because we have one flaw doesn't mean we have to totally erase the product. We can simply update the version. And with this, I introduced this episode titled New Year, New Me. You are listening to Discovering Herself podcast, a show dedicated to females, young or old, who are tired of living in structures and patterns set by others and are eager to discover who they are without being apologetic about it. I'm Goodness, your host, and I would love for you to share and listen to this podcast with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and even neighbors because we have such an amazing time here. And now for today's topic, New Year, New Me. But what does that really mean? I mean, year in, year out, we tend to see this phrase pop up every 1st of January, and we never tend to sit back and think about what it truly means. Given that I'm science inclined, does it mean that we have new body organs or we sleep differently from how we slept the previous year? If we typically sleep on the left side of the bed, does it mean now we will not sleep on the right side of the bed? Or does it mean we no longer snore when we sleep? Or instead of blinking about 200 times a day, we now blink 100 times a day? What does the phrase New Year, New Me actually mean? And with the New Year, New Me, this often comes up in the month of January. Now, let me introduce to you the month of January. This is January, the first month of a brand new year. The month that comes right after December, where a lot of festive activities occurred. The one month where there isn't any major holiday being celebrated in it. After the holiday streaks from Halloween in October, Thanksgiving in November, and of course, Christmas and New Year's Eve in December. This is a month where a lot of people tend to be in a state of regrets, whether financially, emotionally, mentally, and otherwise. A month where a lot of promises are being made in. Lots of goals are set. This month gives us the opportunity to right every wrong made in previous months and in the previous year. And with all this in mind, the stakes are typically always high in January. Many individuals believe that if you get January right, you can get the rest of the year right. But there's another factor that we often tend to miss when looking at January or the start of a new year, which is you. YOU, you. You and I. You and I determine if January is going to be a hit or a miss. You and I also determine if the goals that we set in January will carry us to the end of the year or not. So, on behalf of January, can we reduce the pressure we put on it and redirect that focus and energy onto ourselves? Some of us have already figured this out and we came up with the New Year, New Me phrase, which is cute at first instance. But does there really need to be a new you? Whatever happened with the you of last year or the previous years? Being caught up with festive activities, we often forget to have a moment of reflection and ask ourselves these questions. What internal factors made you not reach the goals that you wanted to reach the previous year? What habits do I have? What group of people did I surround myself with? What mindset did I have all through the previous year? What content did I consume on social media that filmed my year? What people did I follow? What things did I bookmark? Did I save to my playlist? Did all these factors make me reach my goal or did they lead me astray? If you read the book Atomic Habits, you would understand how tiny sometimes what we even consider irrelevant things or habits contribute to what makes us as individuals. And these tiny behavioral patterns determine if we reach our goals or not. So you can post New Year, New Me all you want on your social media accounts, but if you do not get these foundational things covered, it's still gonna be like all your previous years where you didn't reach your goals. So before you go ahead and create another man on the sixth day, ask yourself these questions, and this will guide the new you that you intend to become in this new year. So after you've been able to answer all these questions, the next agenda is what goals are you trying to make for yourself in 2026? And when I say goals, I do not mean goals that other people expect you to get. You know, now there's this obsession right now out there, people saying things like, oh, by now you should have completed your postgraduate studies. Oh, by now you should have had your first child. Oh, don't you think you should try for a boy since you already have two girls? Oh, by now you ought to be married now. None of that. Okay. I'm talking about when you envision December 2026, what do you want to have in that version of yourself when that time comes? It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but we'll cover that in the next episode, how to actually set goals. So you want to stay tuned and share this with anyone that you think has been struggling or has been having challenges in the area of setting realistic goals. But on to this episode, I want to share something with you. Instead of looking for new goals, how about we try and complete the goals that we are yet to complete from our past years? I know, and then like, oh my God, what do you mean? Go back to where I came from, go back to my environment. No. Okay. Listen to what I said. How about we try to complete the goals that we are yet to complete from our previous years? But that's as long as they're still valid. Think about this. If your goal was to build a two-story building in 2025, and by December of 2025, you were unable to complete setting up the foundation, will you then in January 2026 still having that desire to build a two-story building, go to a new site and start afresh? No, definitely not. You continue from where you stopped in that same state. And that's something I fear most of us are neglecting. There's this obsession for new stuff when it comes to January. Instead of us going back and fixing the old stuff that was not broken but just abandoned, we go ahead and do new things and then neglect this one and then make them feel like we're not able to get those things done. So I implore you to return to your 2025 goals, and if you dare your 2024 goals, and see those goals that you are yet to reach and try to include them in your 2026 goals. This thought relieved me of having to think of fresh New Year goals all over again. But this time around, I am focusing on updating my current version. I'd love to hear what version you think you are right now at this time in your life. Are you in your creative version, your career version, your motherhood version? If you follow our Instagram account at discovering herself underscore, you can drop a text and tell me about how this episode sat with you. And if you want to support this show, please write a review. It's super helpful in getting new people to discover this show. On our next episode, we'll be covering how to set goals into the new year, so ensure that you do not miss it. Till next time, stay discovering and stay pumping. Bye.